We begin tonight with the latest on the coronavirus-stricken Diamond Princess cruise ship. More than 500 Filipinos on board the cruise ship are set to be brought back home. JC Cosico with the story.
It was an exodus of sorts. Hundreds of passengers walked off the Diamond Princess cruise ship on Wednesday after spending 2 weeks in quarantine for COVID-19. Save for the more than 500 Filipinos, mostly crew members, who have yet to be repatriated on February 23. Health Secretary Francisco Duque said the Department of Foreign Affairs is currently coordinating with its counterparts in Japan.
The Wuhan City repatriation plan had been successfully implemented. So it's going to be basically the same, but with some adjustments ostensibly because of the bigger number. Maraming BOQ na mag-screen na naman sa kanila. Kasi may pre-embarkation screening in Japan, and then may post-disembarkation dito sa atin.
2 planes will carry them home and will land at the Haribon hangar of the Clark Air Base. From there, buses will transport them to the New Clark City's Athletes Village in Tarlac, where they will be quarantined for yet another 14 days. It is the same building where some 30 Filipinos from Hubei Province, China, are currently quarantined. But Duque said the quarantine period of the Filipinos from Hubei is set to end this week, and the facilities will be disinfected even if the first repatriates were asymptomatic of the virus. The cruise manning agency Magsaysay, meanwhile, will shoulder the costs of their accommodation, food, and other expenses while under quarantine. 21 hospitals from different regions are also ready to provide aid.
Per hospital that is participating, there will be 2 doctors, 4 nurses, 2 nursing attendants, 2 utility workers, with 1 having the competency for electrical and water plumbing. So 10 per team.
But Duque clarified only those who are asymptomatic will be allowed to go home, and that the 44 Filipinos on board who tested positive for COVID-19 will not be repatriated. For News 5, JC Cosico, we are One News.
A day after passengers were allowed to disembark from the ship, Japanese officials confirmed 2 fatalities. An 87-year-old man and an 84-year-old woman, both Japanese nationals, died after being brought to a hospital. They are the first fatalities among the more than 600 people on board who tested positive for COVID-19. Aside from the U.S. and Australia, Hong Kong is also ramping up efforts to evacuate its citizens from the ship. 106 passengers have arrived back in the territory. They will enter another 2 weeks of quarantine. Meanwhile, South Korea has reported a spike in COVID-19 cases after a new outbreak was traced to church services. 23 cases are believed to be linked to a 61-year-old woman who attended the church in Daegu before testing positive for the virus.
With cooperation of the religious group in the region, we will determine its devotees and those who attended the service. We're promptly investigating all people who came in contact with the infected patient. We're planning to conduct effective measures.
Egypt's national airline, Egypt Air, is set to resume flights to China starting next week. The company said it will begin operating a weekly flight every Thursday. Australia, on the other hand, is extending a ban on arrivals from mainland China. The travel restriction will be imposed for another week until February 29. Let's go to Riza Diaz for the latest figures on the COVID-19 outbreak via the Johns Hopkins University's real-time tracking.
Robbie, as of 8 p.m. Manila time, the total number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 is 75,751, mostly again coming from mainland China, having 74,578 of which. Now, after that, the most number of cases have confirmed is in South Korea, Singapore, and Japan. Both have 84 confirmed cases. The numbers that are a little striking are the ones coming again from South Korea that reported 31 new cases today, Thursday, coming from following rather a 20 reported cases from yesterday, Wednesday. Now, we are going to look this time on the other side, talking about the number of fatalities. So far, we have 21,130 deaths, most again coming from China, recording 2,029 deaths, while the first death the first Iran rather, has also reported that 2 of its first confirmed cases, having already again 2 deaths coming from Iran. Now, on the lighter side of things, there is, of course, people that have recovered from the virus. We are looking at 16,642 patients that have recovered or no longer is infected with COVID-19. A lot of them, again, coming from the epicenter of the virus which is Hubei. Robbie.
Thank you, Riza.